Hey everyone, this is Kat, and today I'm actually doing an unexpected video. If you're on my Twitter, then chances are you are well aware that this video is coming, although I may, yeah. So anyways, I had been sitting here just doing some thinking, and if it doesn't look like I'm looking at the camera, my apologies. I am reading because I just typed everything out so I could have it in my head about what I wanted to say. Um, I will go ahead and tell you that this may be a trigger to some people, so if you've been abused or or have depression, then just you've been warned. And my apologies if this triggers anything in you. But so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This video is my story and my battle with depression. I do battle depression on a regular basis, okay? It is no secret that I battle depression, more or less as a side effect to my bipolar disorder, but I'm here to discuss that battle. Not of the bipolar itself, although if y'all want, I can do a video that talks about the bipolar as a whole and how that affects me. But this one here is strictly on my depression and the roads it has taken me. How has it affected my life? Well, here is my story. I have been abused for most of my adult life, raped by my best friend's boyfriend. Me and her no longer talk as she decided to not believe me when I pressed charges on her boyfriend. Beaten by my first husband, torn down emotionally and verbally by my own immediate family. Not like my parents, but my mom's side of the family. Grandmother, aunts, uncle. Well, my uncle hasn't really said much. The only people who really haven't torn me down like that and who have encouraged me every step of the way is my mom's twin sister. She may not tell me, but I know she loves me. You know, she loves me, and if my mom wasn't there, then she definitely would be. She wouldn't let me, just be tossed out or anything like that. I was diagnosed as ADHD as a young child in kindergarten when I lived in Germany. I lived in Germany for 4 years. But I was a kid, so I only remember a little bit of it. My parents, they did the best they could, but in many ways it just wasn't good enough. I made some pretty big, stupid mistakes, and I attribute it all to depression. I had 2 really good jobs, working as a waitress at a Chinese restaurant that loved me to death, and, working at McDonald's, where I had been at McDonald's for a very long time. My best friend, well, at the time, my best friend, not this, I had 2 best friends, so this is a totally different one from the one whose boyfriend raped me. Okay. This one here specifically, I knew for 7 years, so I met her when I was like 11. And I was 18. She told me that I could get a ticket to Texas. There's hair on my webcam. There we go. She told me I could get a ticket for $80 to Texas, and told me that if I bought that ticket, then she would let me stay with her. So I impulsively closed out my bank account, found out that I couldn't, so my dad bought my ticket, and I was supposed to stay with Julia. Who would think that your friend that you've known since you were 11 and you're now 18 would actually leave you out on the streets? Seriously. I ended up in a homeless shelter until some old family friends found me. So I moved in with them, and as time grew on, I actually started to become very depressed, homesick. I missed my family, but I didn't want to go back home. I started cutting with razors. Eventually I got my own place. I began phone therapies. I was able to stop cutting with, believe it or not, a band, plus one CD. Oh god, what is the name of that album? It's their first album. It has a song on it called Last Flight Out that kind of did it for me. And, well, I eventually left Texas, went to Washington to be with a guy who I met over the phone through one of those chat line things. He basically screwed me and then left. He did pay for 2 weeks in a hotel, but I was alone, no money, no job, nothing. So I started helping the local smoke shop for a little bit of cash and cigarettes. When they closed, I would go and help them restock cigarettes. My parents didn't even know where I was. I hit the edge and started consistently thinking about killing myself. After all, my mother's side of the family didn't want me. I was the outcast. At that point, I had been raped, beaten, and torn down. Why would anyone want me? If my best friend wouldn't believe me in a time where I needed her, why would anyone else? So, I did eventually go back home. That's a story for another day. But still, as the years drifted on, I continued to fall into this downward spiral. Even after I had my children, I thought my life would get better. That's not exactly what happened. It went downhill. So, when I was married to my first husband, who was so physically abusive, I ended up trying to kill myself to get out of it. I miscarried his child, and my apologies to anyone who may find my next statement insensitive, but I had absolutely no emotional attachment to that baby. A part of me was glad I miscarried. I'm against abortion, so that was definitely out of the question. But I wasn't sure I could deal with that constant reminder of a man as cruel as my first husband. Plus, if I had a child, how was I was going to be trapped. You know, I may have died at his hands. Before that, I had been in abusive relationships, but none as abusive as him. I wished for death. I wished that I would die every night. You know, eventually, I met my current husband, who he paid for my divorce. But for months after, while me and him were dating, I was so afraid that he was just going to be another abusive guy in my life. When I ended up pregnant, I fell into an even deeper depression. My boys, they were taken by social services. I had already tried to kill myself after that happened. I didn't think that it would get any better. And in a way, my life has gotten better, but the depression hasn't. It's always there. It's going to be there. At this point, I have made 3 suicide attempts in my life. That's one too many. Oh, that's 3 too many, actually. All because I couldn't handle something. An abusive marriage I wanted out of, losing my sons to social services, a huge argument I got into with my husband when my daughter was a baby. I battled depression, and this will be an ongoing battle. It will never go away. I am bipolar, and depression is a huge side of it. Am I depressed now? Not right this second. This is my antidepressant. I have another one that I'm not gonna get up and go get, but it's the one that helps me sleep. I take meds, and I will take meds for the rest of my life because I'm bipolar, and I am depressed. I battle depression. I don't talk to a therapist about any of this because, well, to be honest with you, I'm kind of afraid that they'll judge me, even though I know they shouldn't, and they're not supposed to. Even though my daughter doesn't live with me, I can call her, I can visit her whenever I want, or whenever I can afford to, because she lives in Wisconsin and I'm in Virginia. So I'm not depressed over her not being with me. I was at first, but I'm not now. Have I come to grips with the abuse I've endured? I want to say yes, but I have to be honest. With the abuse I received from my first husband, yes, I have come to grips with that. I've healed from that. I will never be 100% okay with it. I will never be 100% healed from the physical abuse from the physical, emotional, and verbal abuse I received at his hands and his words. I will never be okay with that. I do have videos that outline that story, so if you want, I can link them to you, and that will give more. I'm sorry, I was interrupted. Okay, but the physical abuse that I endured from him doesn't affect me the way it used to. I'm actually planning on getting a... Well, I am going to go ahead and end this video, but I will give this last paragraph or thoughts, really. I'm sorry that this video gets a little personal, but I needed it to be, and I'm willing to answer any and all of your questions, but if you are depressed, then get help, get on meds, get therapy, whatever it takes to battle that depression. Another thing that helps, keeping a journal. I do it. It's my own personal thoughts, and you know what, sometimes what I read in it's not even true. Seriously. But nothing says my journal and my personal thoughts has to be true. So, thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share the video. Also keep in mind that, you know, any form of depression or any sign of it should definitely get help. There are a number of resources that can help people.